Devoted fans of the LUQ eagerly wait on bated breath for the new season to take flight. New teams are forming as we speak, and the Grand Proving is under construction under the watchful eye of the Nexus Enterprise, founders of the League, and masters of entertainment. This week's episode is brought to you by Fayaway. Pesky sprites and pixies bothering your business? Use Fayaway. Storm, you took the proving test back when they were just starting. What are your memories of the trial?
I don't want to sound like a broken record or anything, but back in my day, we didn't get to stand around in a coliseum. We were just thrown to the wolves. It's a test of your skill, your strength, your wit, and nowadays it's all so carefully controlled and focus grouped.
That's right. The 1,000 gold entry fee these teams are fighting tooth and nail to acquire is just to take the initiation test.
You wouldn't catch me paying 1,000 gold just to get my butt kicked.
Well, those that pass the trial will become official novice-ranked teams of the League of Ultimate Questing and start the new season working to rise through the ranks and build their fan base. Those who fail will return home in shame and have to wait till next year to try again. One thing's for certain, every year we're surprised by what the new teams bring to the table. The game is ever-changing. We find the adventurers hoping to join the League of Ultimate Questing in their very tightly packed room with 4 feathery beds packed wall to wall, discussing their plans for the near future.
Look, I hate getting mixed up in all this weirdness, but we need to find that boat.
You're joining League of Adventurers. What do you mean you don't like getting caught up in weirdness?
I just think we need to get our priorities in order.
Anything that can lead to the money we need, I am okay with doing. But the question though, did the Poisoned Man have anything to do with Black Tongue or any of our quests?
It is hard to say.
It seemed just convenient.
True. Perhaps the Black Tongues would like to offer a reward for us to tell them that King Sneak has this cipher of theirs.
I have another question. Desimondo, the Delalili, the 2 children, the obnoxious idiots, rich people. You remember?
Yes.
Do you remember what they say about which dock they were at? Was it Sam? Was it Southern Cutlass? I think it was Southern Cutlass as well. And this says to me, I think Dart and Neck might be somehow related.
You do bring up a good point.
It's possible. So we have Black Tongue at 2 clocks. We have the Doody girls, the Didis.
Yes.
They are at the Southern Cutlass. But so far we have to wait for sword things, so maybe we go to whichever one works.
I'm inclined to say we need to go to those docks.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, no one here seems to be too terribly excited about the idea of dealing with the halfling.
So, would you guys like to head to the Southern Cutlass here late at night, or wait till the morning?
I would like a
I
nap.
think we should go at
You would like nap? Do you want a little bit of
You
sleep?
can take a short rest if you'd like, and then you can regain some hit dice that way.
Maybe I can wrap you up in a series of furs and soothe you to sleep with patting of your head?
Yes.
No. You can have nap when you have worked yourself to exhaustion, okay?
Yes, just don't
Okay.
sleep too long. We need to get there really soon.
Well, we'll say that the group has been at rest for about half an hour discussing such things. So if you'd like to roll a d12 plus your con mod, you can regain that many hit points. And that's all your hit dice for the day.
Now, Mr. DM, I assume that late at night at the docks there might be some people of the evening that might know some things.
Certainly. You in the time you spend in town, you know that the night activity in the darker side of town is definitely a boomin'. And the group, asking directions only a couple of times, finds their way to the Southern Cutlass. Now, in Lucinili, there are 4 major wharfs that do trade with the outside, and one of which is the more naval and rich portion. That is called the Silver Sails, which is the one that is furthest to the south. And next to that is the Southern Cutlass. Then there is the Central Foil and the Northern Spadroon. In that order, they basically go from nice to less nice to less nice. So the Southern Cutlass is actually, while it is in the slums, it's a fairly nice wharf. There's probably where the majority of ships are docked in this city.
Why do people build giant houses to float on water? This seems like a waste of time.
No, there's a beautiful sense of freedom. Don't you
On
understand
water?
that? Yes, what's more freeing?
Water you can drink, perhaps?
And the sign of people unloading ships, even here in the dark, with lanterns to guide them, hauling on gear, patching up damaged vessels, and of course, people wandering the streets, going from tavern to tavern. There's a few that face the docks that are all quite bustling at this time of night, even after everyone else has pretty much gone to bed. This is when the ship workers get off and kind of relax for the evening, because they don't start work till later in the day. And,
Does anybody recall the name of the dock worker who was injured? Was it Nick?
Boris.
Boris? Boris. We are looking for Boris. This name sounds very good. I know Boris is in Dark Elf. I wonder if he is perhaps related. This is not important. Boris who was unloading an Alcaran vessel. All we have to do is ask who is Alcaran.
So I look around for familiar, unfamiliar faces, i.e. the night people.
Well, you haven't made any friends here per se, but you can recognize the people who are working the streets.
Yes.
And you do, in fact, see a few of them that are kind of peppered between the taverns. So as people are heading home, they might get an alluring call, like into an alley to make a transaction, and then they can get followed to their home.
See if you can find out from anybody where Boris works.
Indeed. That's...
All right, would you like to confront one of these individuals?
Yes, I would.
All right, you see, looks like an older woman, probably in her mid-40s, but very fine figure, athletic, if anything. She might even work on the ships during the day, you might think. Very well built. She has a very attractive, slightly whiting hair on the sides. Handsome face, good layer of makeup. Her makeup skills are on point. Eyebrows on fleek, for sure. And she's wearing a very low-cut kind of almost like leather work clothes, but they're fairly revealing with like slits up the legs that go up very far. An interesting ensemble, but definitely sells itself. What can I get for you, honey?
Give me a slice of them primo gams, babe.
You don't look like you're looking for my kind of companionship.
Maybe another time, but right now we're looking for a friend of ours. Maybe you've heard him or seen him around.
I've heard of a lot of hymns, especially in the Southern Cutlass.
True.
You got a name to go with that
Boris.
gold coin you're going to give me?
Boris. I make it a gold and a half.
Well, I do know a Boris. Just came by here earlier. Looked like a piece of fresh hell.
Did he have this weird frightened look on his face?
He looked like a beat dog.
Do you know where he worked?
That's the one.
What boat?
Just like out of the dark alley, like Artyom just talked. There's like a shock of white hair.
Excuse my manners. I'm just new to the city. This is my friend.
Well, I'm all the gladder that I don't work in doubles. Now, you've offered the coin, but I'd like to see the color of it if you don't mind.
I hand her a gold and a half, as promised.
She takes it and puts it into a kind of a leather fanny pack type sash. And she says, well, if you follow me, I'll take you to the ship that he was just unloading. And she takes you actually not too far from where you are, one of the main larger docks. There's a ship that's painted with a very dark red color on the outside. You can even tell in the night moonlight, with a little bit of like fancy filigree that sort of flecked off and started to fade. And it's got crates being unloaded in front of it that all have symbols carved into the side of like different, what we would call mythological creatures, but here they're just creatures. Most of them have what looks like an image of a sphinx on it. Some of them have wyverns, and a couple of them have like a large eye surrounded by smaller eyes.
You can tell that Chris is a little bit uncomfortable right now.
You're familiar with the houses of Alcara too. These are the symbols of the different noble houses that kind of control everything in the Alcaran market and government. So they got shipments of all kinds of stuff.
That they do.
And there are some workers just going about it.
You're afraid of these symbols?
I'm sorry, we just met.
I fail to see how this has anything to do, but okay. Is this place, this is where he works?
That's the ship that he was unloading.
They're still working.
It's not a full-time gig. He just unloads ships. Works for the Merchants Guild, if I remember.
Okay. Do you know anything else about him?
He's a nice man.
Would he have done anything that would make him a target?
Maybe for some brigands in town. He works real hard. Gets a lot of coin in his pocket.
Okay, nothing special.
He's no high-class model, if you know what I mean. Just a working boy.
Thank you. Your name?
Nope. Good night.
Nope, good night. This is interesting, name.
And there are workers just going at it, lowering things down from gangplanks, ropes, loosening.
I immediately go to one of the ones lowering ropes, asking, can I help?
Are you on the ledger?
No, but I think it'll go faster if I help.
Free labor?
Not quite free. I just want to ask a question or two. Is that okay?
I'm working here. Can you make it quick?
Your friend Boris nearly died working on this ship. I'm sure your guild wouldn't be too happy to hear that he was so seriously put in danger, yes?
Boris, he's been off for over an hour.
Yes, he went completely insane from neurotoxin. He comes into a bar, tries to kill me and my friend here.
No, you got the wrong Boris, friend.
No, I did not.
He's a gentle giant.
He says he hears snap as he opens cargo. He says trapped boxes. Is this common practice?
Hold it there. And he takes off, and you see him like go to some of the other workers and immediately like kind of raise a silent alarm. And they go from unloading the boxes to all starting to like pat them down and like search them.
Whatever box Boris was working on last, this is going to be trapped.
And as they go through this kind of mechanical routine, they seem to be ignoring any words you're putting towards them.
Well,
And
perhaps...
one of the younger men is like, I got one right here. And a couple of them go around. Yeah. Well, call the expert in. They have someone run off. Look, thanks for the warning. That's really nice of you. Usually this gets checked at the border, but this shipment must have gotten not the thorough inspection they usually get. This is just trickery from the Alcarans trying to fuck with our Merchants Guild. Sometimes they put traps in their cases and boxes.
This happens constantly.
No, it hasn't happened in a while, because usually they catch it at the border, but I guess security's a little lax right now.
How often do you see poisons like this?
Poison's probably the most common. Sometimes there's black mask scorpions hidden at the bottom of hay that we have vases and boxes of spices in. Sometimes there's just a little tiny like metal vial that snaps, and then this sticky cloud fills the air. Smells like burnt band-aids.
And this is game to your people. You just simply throw dangers at each other as a lark.
Us noble Leonans don't do that kind of shit. That's Alcaran trade.
That is an
Poison's not even legal here.
There's an awful lot of proper nouns I do not understand, but thank you for the information.
It's a bit of bad business from Alcara, he says with a spit. Bloody sand snakes.
The Karens, do they steal ships?
Yeah.
We had a ship go missing recently from one of our co-workers. Not the co-worker. What is word? Employer.
Friend?
Employer.
Sounds like an Alcaran business, but there's not a lot of Alcaran sailors here in Lucinilli.
I'll describe the ship, however they gave it to us.
I work with the actual sea-bearing vessels. That sounds like a miniature yacht.
Where would this... they say it launches from here, despite this not being the, as you say, high-class place.
I did hear something about a ship go missing a few days ago.
Where would this be?
He kind of gestures you off around the side to behind where all the crates and everything are. Look, I'm pretty good friends with the wharf master here. This is hard work. You put some coins in my direction, I can ask the right people and find out where this ship went.
Why would you ask for coins? I try to do a good favor. I give you information. I protect your friends from further injury.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, okay. Hey, actually, 17.
17.
17.
So despite your kind of harsh mannerisms, you're kind of rubbing him the right way. You both have obviously a rough background.
That was persuasion.
gonna
Sorry,
say.
13.
That sounded high.
12. Excuse me. 12. I am so very wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, so you're
I saw perception.
you're not like immediately turning him off, but he's definitely not swaying from his offer of doing this for money.
You are better at these things than I am. Perhaps Sexy Man tells him words. Good words to make him feel good.
The sexy man have money?
yes, I do.
You guys give me 5 crowns, I'll get the information for you. Guaranteed.
5 crowns.
Is there anything we can do to lower that price? We're trying to be on our way on our quest.
Roll me a persuasion as well. And that'll be the last persuasion you guys get against this guy.
Okay.
You need laborer. You're 1 man short.
That is
Well, like we said, he's already off the clock.
that is a 20. I have proficient.
20 total?
So 15 plus 5. Yeah.
Got it. You did help us out and tell us about the trapped boxes. We'll make it 3. That's a deal. Let me
That's a
tell you.
deal.
The only gold I have on my person is on my hair. You get nothing from me. But perhaps one of these gentlemen.
Take the gold coins, put it in my hand, and shake his hand.
Thank you. And you notice he's missing his pinky finger when you do that.
While these guys have been interacting with the dock worker, I guess, or the dock.
He's probably in charge of this whole operation
the
here.
dock boss.
Yeah.
The gang boss. Haruthax has been sort of standing kind of a ways off, didn't interact with the lady of the evening, anything, just kind of watching what's going around and seeing if anyone's watching us, if there's anything shading going on, that kind of thing.
Roll me a perception check.
14 plus 1, so 15.
All right. You do, like I said, there's a lot of activity between the bars going on right now. But you do notice what looks like a couple of halflings kind of over by near the one of the front of the bars. They're kind of just leaning and relaxing, but they keep staring over at you guys every now and then.
Okay. King Sneak might be keeping an eye on us.
King Squeak, yes.
Squeak.
He probably is protecting his investments. Yeah, they just kind of accidentally catch your eye once or twice, but they seem like they're doing a pretty good job of feigning an unrelated conversation.
Okay.
Do any of you have money?
I think Chris kind of
I already.
rolled that bank.
Yes.
You know, I understand you to be the person who is, as you say, a carouser. You have the rapport with people. If your rapport comes down to money, perhaps I rob you, take your money, and then I get rid of you on TM, find somebody better. Yes?
And perhaps I slit your throat.
The dock worker's just standing there like, yeah, that's how it works.
Did you threaten me?
No, more like a promise.
You two look like good friends. I'll go talk to the wharf master. Maybe go get a drink or something. I'll find you in a little bit.
At this point, Haruthax will walk up and
There are 2 halflings who are watching us.
And he points over to where they are. There's no halflings there.
There were 2 halflings who were watching us.
Halflings.
I nod.
I don't like the short ones.
This is okay.
So you guys have apparently a little bit of time to kill before this individual who did not give you his name goes and finds his wharf master friend.
Were the halflings talking in front of a bar?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just go into that bar.
Sure.
Artyom, I'd like to apologize. I don't do very well when I'm cornered.
This is understandable. You also must understand that in my country, where I come from, when somebody is threatened, they are meant to answer for the threats.
Well, that's fair.
And you guys go into this tavern that the halflings were quote unquote hanging out outside of. You did not see them. Only Herathax, being very cautious, saw them. And as you go in, you see a sign hanging over the front that says Kingfisher's Galley, and it's got some kind of long-necked bird with an arched beak carved into it. And as you go in, you see there's a lot of taxidermied sea life on the walls, like all kinds of fish that you would catch out in the sea, like very large swordfish, tunas. There's even like an octopus that's kind of like embossed on the ceiling that's kind of like coming out of it. They're not like super good quality, but the quantity is very impressive. And this place actually has a very good band, like a 3-piece band with like a skin drum and a flute and a mandolin player. And it's bumping. It's mostly dock workers. There's no guards to be seen anywhere around here, but everyone seems to have their like cliques. They're all kind of in their own groups. One group's at the bar, one group's taken over a couple tables and pushed them together. There's some that are kind of on the dance floor, not really dancing, but just kind of hanging out. One of the busier bars in this district for sure.
I am extremely uncomfortable in his shows. Frantically looking over at all the sea life and the taxidermy and all this shit and just like,
Yeah, these are creatures you've never... This is like fucking alien... It's like a Geiger exhibit.
Really? I just walked into a fucking Lovecraftian nightmare and I'm just, no.
Yeah. Go ahead and everyone roll me a perception check if you don't mind.
Yeah.
22.
You immediately catch glance of a couple of halflings kind of tucked away behind the dance floor, kind of in the corner of where the bar meets the wall.
I rolled a natural 1.
It's just too much. It's the
sensory overload.
Oh man, the music is just like nothing you've ever heard before, and it just smells of beer and human piss, which is your least favorite kind of piss.
Least favorite.
Yeah, you immediately catch eye of a couple of halflings kind of tucked over in the corner. Looks like they're both sharing like some kind of cigarette.
I will try to surreptitiously kind of nudge him and incline in their direction.
And the three of you are made aware as well that he has spotted these two.
Are these the ones you were seeing earlier?
Heruthax looks at them. Same pair?
Same pair.
Heruthax nods.
Seems interesting that he would have people be watching us, also running away from us when they see them. If you wanted us to know, I suppose if you wanted to protect his investment, they would be, they wouldn't mind us seeing them. So why did they hide?
And a tavern woman comes by, pretty young, bright red hair. She looks like she's maybe got some burns on the side of her face, probably from like cooking though, not like fighting or accident. Anything I can get for ya?
Yes, these two have... No, this is not appropriate. What do people get here? What do people do here?
Heruthax is totally sensory overloaded.
You look very excited. So
Also not him.
She actually snaps like,
4 ales.
hello?
Nice.
4 ales? 4 ales. When I get back, that'll be 4 copper. Rummages off, like weaving deftly between people, taking up the floor space. There's no table to find. They're all pretty much claimed.
There are only 2 halflings at that table. Perhaps we have a seat.
But they're leaning against the bar, like I said.
Oh,
in the
okay,
corner.
gotcha. Never mind.
Is there are all the people in here like dock workers and things, or?
Pretty much, yeah. You think
Okay.
some of them might be perhaps unemployed or kind of the people who just go out and try to
So they're
find some
all
work to do.
fairly swarthy.
These are
though.
working men, working women.
It's not like a Dragonborn, a Furbolg, and a Drow sidle up to the table, and there's going to be like a table that looks like they would
Like
just
the record
move.
scratch.
Right? Yeah. Well, I was thinking there might be some people that would like look at the party and just go, we're just going to go drink somewhere else. So just
They're not all humans. There's
vacate a table.
You guys definitely stand out as a little bit more outside than what's normal here, but there's like some half-orcs. There's even like a couple goblins. Like this place sees all creeds. So you're weird. Like you definitely catch people's eye, but no one's like, "Ugh, look at those guns." They're just accepting. Some good old boys. Do you guys make a move for the halflings, or do you let them take on because they're going to leave soon?
Yeah, I think kind of have to, right? Yeah, I guess I would. Yeah, I'm just going to go right for them.
And they, like I said, they're like sharing some kind of cigarette. The smell immediately does not smell like tobacco to you. It's something else. You got a problem?
Where are you watching? You watch us out there, you watch us in here.
Because you're ugly.
This is not debatable, but this is not enough reason. There was uglier men to watch.
Not illegal to stare at ugly things. Yeah, it's quite fascinating, really. Pastime of ours, ain't that right? That's right. You want to make something of it?
I think you walked over there by yourself.
Nobody else. Nobody else.
After he takes off, the barmaid comes back.
You're
with 4
looking. You're
ales.
looking at us.
And you guys each get a full like
Yes, and
half liter of ale.
I after tipping
Mr. Moneybags.
Yes, after tipping her a silver, I go and bring him his ale.
And she finds you a table.
No.
She goes over and she's like, "Hey, Scram, you've been here all night." Give someone a kick off their chair.
What I would give
a table,
to be able
sir.
to do that in real life.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
I go over to Artyom and hand him his ale, and
He's just like having a staring contest with these two swarthy little smoking halflings.
This little
And
ale
I-
just peeks into frame.
yeah, I address these halflings. Would you like to join us at our table?
Nope. We got our spot and everything.
We're doing a job for your man, the big person. Relatively.
We
of
don't work
course.
for anyone big. I don't know what you're talking about.
King, perhaps?
King? Well, we all work for the king, ain't that right? Yeah, that's right.
We're looking for a little bit of information on some people with darkened tongues that you might be able to help us with.
He spits on the ground.
I do the same.
Well, you're definitely in the right area to be asking about that type.
We assume you're this person, this higher up individual who wants us to find more information about this gentleman. We hope you might be able to help.
The two of them kind of like stare at some other patrons that are just kind of nearby, possibly within eavesdropping range, and they immediately like look at them and then back away. Like these halflings actually seem to have some kind of like feared reputation around here. They just kind of like shoulder and gesture, and the people like back away. They're like, I didn't see nothing.
Well, maybe since they're so good at looking at things, maybe they've seen a, what was it, a yacht?
Yes, have you seen yacht of this description?
We don't go that close to the wharf workers. Sorry. This is just a good place to get a drink. We work in the city, as it were.
And if there were people around with darkened tongues, what would I want to know about them if I was trying to find about, what was it, Cypher? What was going on with that?
The King Sneak had the cipher, but he needs the ledger.
If we were trying to find something like administrative office for these individuals, where would we look?
If you had that information, it'd be worth a lot of money, let me tell you.
I will ask them before they leave. Haruthax will.
Do you know, you watch people, not the boards, yes?
I'll say. Yeah, that's right.
You see two wealthy twins.
They're both human, weren't they? The twins.
Yeah.
They come in this bar, they go somewhere else.
Oh, I remember those two. They tried to pretend like they were workers on the dock. Ship people right off the ocean. You could smell the perfume wafting out of their asses from 2 blocks away.
I nod.
Yeah, we got them to buy everyone in the bar a drink so we didn't cut their throats.
This bar.
This is the bar. Everyone comes to Kingfisher Galley. Best drinks in town. Copper a liter. Copper a liter.
It's not bad.
And their ship. Do you know what happened to it?
Now did something happen to the ship? That's hilarious. Oh, you just made my night.
Can I tell if they're being genuine when they say that?
Roll me an insight check.
Okay.
May I as well?
Sure.
20
Total.
total.
They definitely are surprised to hear that and think it's very funny.
Okay.
But they definitely do remember these two people.
If there was something I was trying to squeeze to get more information about the individuals we spoke of earlier, who would I look for?
He looks around like,
Well, you did make my night, so I'll let this one slide on the house. You want to find Regis.
Regis.
Yeah, he runs a wagon over at 2 clocks.
Oh, 2 blocks. Okay.
Let's just say he technically works for them, but he has a reputation for having a loose tongue and not a black tongue.
Ah, very good to know.
Bring some money with you.
Can do. Here, have my drink.
All right. Yeah, all right.
What do you know about the crew this affluent pair of twins had with them?
Oh, they didn't bring a crew with them, and let me tell you, they should have. They came in by themselves, said the crew was watching their ship.
Ah, okay. So they just left the crew with it, and the crew stole the boat.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Do you know this crew? These people who were working with
I
them?
didn't even hear their names.
Ah, okay.
Could have been hundreds of people. Anyone will take a job from a noble to watch a boat for a night.
Do you know anybody in customs or people who check boats coming in and out? People who might be willing to have their palms greased?
Boy, if you want to get your palms greased for the wharf master, you should probably go to the Central Foil. That's a real greedy wharf master. But I'll tell you, go to 2 clocks, find Regis, slip him some coin, and he'll spill the beans.
Good to know. Tell me, do these Black Tongues have a lot of association with ship theft, things like this?
You know, probably. I don't think it's their forte. They work in the city like we do.
Fair enough. Trying to solve more problems with one stone, as you say.
Look, if you find any black tongues, just give them a swift kick in the eggs for me, all right?
Can do.
And at that, you all become aware after a period of time of some figure that is very familiar. The man who was working at the docks, like looking around, like,
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I got a little information for you. Turns out someone paid the wharf master a very sweet bit of coin to look the other way while they just sailed the ship off with the crew. They got on board, they talked to the crew, and they just took off
Wasn't any kind of... I mean, I guess it was theft, but boy, it was pretty elegant if you ask me.
So somebody who is not crew gets on ship with crew,
Yep.
and then ship disappears.
All he told me was that he was dressed real nice. He'd been pretty deep in the brown bottle, though, so we didn't remember too much. But he got a lot of money out of it. And that means overtime for all of us dock workers, and that's okay. Sorry I don't got more for you, but the wharf master has about as many friends as I got fingers, so you picked the right one.
Are the halflings still there when I turn around, or have they?
They're in the bar, but they're
Okay.
kind of off now. They're kind of meeting with some more friends.
Okay.
They genuinely came here to have fun, but they
Okay.
did go outside and stare at you for a while.
All right, I'll sort of slide back up to them and I'll ask. Yeah. The rich people you saw,
Yeah.
were they the only two rich people you saw?
No, we get rich people in here all the time. People who own boats, people who want to pretend like they're mixing in with the regular people.
Anybody very well dressed who might have stolen a sheep?
But it's pretty vague.
Okay.
Well-dressed people do not tend to want to steal ships.
They probably own their own ship. Sounds like.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I wonder if they did it this...
don't sneak up on people. You're creepy.
I close my nictitating membranes.
Did Desmond and Delilah, do they have last names?
Yes. Their last name is Salvidan.
And really one last quick question. Does the Salvadans have enemies?
Yeah, I imagine they got some enemies. They're one of the top textile exporters in this region.
Anybody who specifically?
I don't think they got any trouble with the guilds or the local, the Black Tongues. I think the merchants and the thieves guilds work pretty hand in hand here in Lucinilli. But I bet there's some Alcarans that don't like the competition they have.
I wonder where they bought the shipment of Alcaran goods came from. Perhaps if they have some association with somebody in town, might be a link.
Now, it probably came from Denmazir.
Demazir?
Well, that's the capital. That's where all the trade ships from Alcara come from. There's not a lot of cities in Alcara. Mostly desert. What a shithole.
It's not wrong.
This is good. I like this. I'll have to see this shithole.
That said, the city they got, fuck of a nice city. You ever seen the patchwork spires? Take your breath away.
I've seen nothing, as you can probably tell.
That's actually pretty smart in this town to have seen nothing. I'd stick with that.
I'll remember that.
So the night winds down and you've gotten your information, and the bar seems to be kind of slowly dispersing back to their homes. And at this point now, it's probably the equivalent of like 4:30 in the morning. Like, you guys have been up all day.
Well, on to 2 o'clock. More conversation, more people to talk to. No?
Exhausted.
Yeah, pissed.
You would probably guess that the 2 clocks market isn't open at this time.
And it's not open.
Ugh, fine. I will stop working.
So we will follow you guys back to the room where you guys immediately pass out. Artyom probably takes a while to take in the thoughts and sights of the new thing. Sleeping like an elf does. Lazy teammates just snoozing away.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Well, howdy, adventurer. You all look hungry from a long day of questing. Well, put down the dry rations and get yourself to Darn Good Grub's Full Plate Diner. It's an all-you-can-eat dwarven smorgasbord. We got more braised boar and beef brisket than you can beat with a battle axe. Get our new mega flagon of dwarven ale, now available in 64 ounces and kid sizes. Leave your good berries for the elves and come on down to Darn Good Grub's Full Plate Diner. Come hungry, leave encumbered.
Hey guys, it's Law and Zach again.
Time for the real ads.
Orcs is a Portland-based Dungeons & Dragons pop-up led by Tavern Master and Portland chef Anthony Caffiero. Join the Orcs team each month as their group of unique professional dungeon masters brings to life a special theme of the month paired with craft cocktails and great food. Great for beginners or veterans. Visit orcs.com to find out about upcoming events and purchase one-of-a-kind published adventures from the Archives, like EN World Review Down the Hole and the high-blazing fantasy adventure of Where is Wizard Hut. Buy your tickets now because they go fast.
They really do go fast. I've been a couple of times myself. I'm going this Monday. I've had an amazing time every time. And honestly, I spend more on just getting amazing food. And this comes with an unbelievable experience from some of the best GMs, one of which might include Law. Shh.
They're all very talented, though.
They're all very talented. And yeah, it's just a great experience. And I really look forward to going again. Highly recommend it.
Visit orcs.com. Follow the team on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Orcs. Roll dice, get drunk, have fun.
Lots of folks these days move at a high speed. They keep their character sheets on tablets, and they roll 2d4 when drinking a healing potion. Well, call me old-fashioned, but here at Domain Farms, we make our healing potions the way they did in the good old days. Sure, 1d8 ain't quite as rewarding as 2d4. That's the way our daddy made 'em. And that tradition lives on with us. Ain't that right, Scraps? Domain Farms. Old-fashioned 1d8 healing potions. You know it'll last if it's cured.
In the morning, you awaken. There is breakfast and coffee being served downstairs. It costs a copper to get in on that buffet, but it's pretty good. And once again, the handlebar mustached half-elf is just like buzzing away like a bee, getting everything done. You think he's cooking, serving, and cleaning like all at the same time. This guy's just a service industry powerhouse.
I love this dark juice. This hot dark juice is very good. I do not understand why we did not have it back in Dragon Draw.
Coffee?
Da, the coffee, yes, it's amazing.
Finest coffee from Alcara.
I don't know Alcara from anywhere else, but this is very good. I work 16-hour days. This would have been nice.
Is there anything you'd like to do in the tavern before you head to the 2 clocks? You guys woke up a little late, so you're thinking they're probably open by now. Probably about like 10 a.m. equivalent, 10 bells as it were.
I think we should go to the market.
Is Boris down at the buffet?
No, he hasn't been around.
Okay.
I'll stay and keep it where Boris is.
He's probably still sleeping.
No? Yeah.
Had a hell of a night.
When he gets up, tell him have lots of food, especially fatty foods, and to take more rest, even if he doesn't want to.
I'll do it. Thank you.
And as you leave, the city is absolutely bustling. Like you guys are leaving from the Barrow blocks, which are, again, on the kind of darker side of town. But there are so many ships that if you were to stand on the wharf, like you could hardly see the ocean. It's just sails everywhere. And as you pass through, there are a couple marketplaces in town, the largest one being the 5 Guild Square, which is massive, and it's in the nice district of town. The 2 clocks is much smaller. It's almost like a big wide alley. And as you approach, you see what looks like a clock tower built to the north and one to the south that are both just dilapidated. They were built probably decades ago, and they have not been in repair. Neither of them have the accurate time showing on them. They're just paint peeling away, bricks falling out. But there, rested underneath their shadows, is a pretty bustling little market. Lots of open booths, big wagons that have lots of produce boxes stacked in front of them. There's a tall female blacksmith just like hammering away at an open forge out in the street. And the one thing you notice most of all is a very large group of horses being led in. They're all kind of tethered together, very tame and well controlled. And it looks like there's probably just an import of horses came in that people are all gathered around to purchase. So that seems to be the big market activity of the day. And they look like they're very nice steeds. I don't know how many of you would have known, probably just you two know anything about horses, if anything. There's some kind of weird hooved wolves that are
this is very confusing.
For the podcast, Law pointed at
oh yeah, we're talking to Christ and Arvid are probably the only 2 that have dealt with a lot of horses before.
Arvid's quite excited to see horses.
They're pretty nice horses. These are definitely city horses, but they're
I'm just baffled by the idea that people get on animals that they could be eating. Specifically, I mean, say that. Why do people get on animals that are perfectly good for eating?
It's a little gamey.
What is gamey?
it is faster.
It's faster?
It is faster.
Yeah.
4 legs, 2 legs.
Yeah, speed is loud. Loud to draws the attention of the things in the dark.
I look at your scale mail. And just I was gonna say I raised my eyebrows. I have an alligator face. I don't think I have eyebrows.
You have a crest that could probably
I
descend and lower.
I look quizzically at you, whatever that means for a dragonborn.
I also like to picture your eyelids closed sideways for some reason.
Yeah.
Or you have 2 of them like the
Yeah.
But business is bustling here. It looks like no one here is very wealthy, but they've come to get their daily vegetables. There's a large array of like fresh like tomatoes. You know, to the north of Lucidalia, there's a ton of farmland, the Lucidian Acre. So this is actually a fairly large agricultural town as well as a port city. And another thing that catches your eye is like obviously far away from the horses. There's another kind of open tent with sort of a mini fence erected around it, with a series of like unusual animals, all just kind of like tethered and wandering around. There's like all breeds of like different kinds of goats, things that are not very dangerous.
Is it a petting zoo?
It's kind of like a petting zoo, but there's also a large cage with a very big, some kind of feline, huge like wide shoulders with like brown and white stripes, and it has 2 tails that kind of lash behind it. It has a very long, wide mouth. And it seems fairly docile, but it's just sort of like pacing back and forth. And like little kids are like, Mommy, look at the monster. And there's a man just kind of like letting kids like pet the goats and things like that. There's like birds, all kinds of different colors. There's
Not
these tall,
petting the cat monster, probably.
no one gets near the cat. It's in a
Yeah.
very secure cage. But you see like these kind of long-necked birds with these like big dragging tails that are kind of pink and curly. Just a whole menagerie of bizarre animals. And yeah, you guys are at the 2 Clocks Market at pretty much noontime.
Did the little persons say where Regis would be found? Anybody?
They didn't.
This is not very helpful.
Maybe we should split up and go look around for Regis. I can look over there with the animals.
I'll point at one of the merchants closest to us,
Sure.
and I'll just say,
You there. I am looking for the merchant Regis.
You're looking for Regis? Oh, well, he's not in the best mood today, but he's just over there towards the southern clock tower.
I turn and I look at Arvid and go, and just point.
This was far faster than I anticipated.
It's away from the animals.
I understand.
It's actually the furthest from the animals, and then it's horses, and then it's the direction you're going.
We finish work quickly. Then you maybe go pet animals.
And as you guys walk past, there's a large, like, rotund half-orc who's, like, selling these, like, tomatoes and pumpkins and squash and things, who seems to be in charge of most of the produce in the area. And then there's the woman who's just, like, hammering away at all of these swords. She has, like, a rack of completely identical long swords that she's just, like, pounding away on. And down at the end, like, kind of in the deepest part of the shadow of the southern clock tower, there's what looks like used to be sort of like an open-side wagon that's... part of it's like caved in, and instead of like everything's like taken out of it and is erected into like a little store in front of it with boxes and a makeshift counter, and there's a figure behind it who's like counting things out in little tiny like leather bags and just like spitting and cursing. Older, sides of his head shaved off, like he's trying to maybe look younger, but he's definitely very leathery and aged. Kind of long yellow corn chip fingernails and gnarly looking.
Corn chips.
I paint a pretty picture, don't I?
Look like Fritos.
No, what are they? Bugles.
Yeah, like he's doing he has some kind of delicious crunchy fingernails. Sponsored by Frito-Lay.
Perfect. I think this is the Regis we're looking for.
And he's actually, I'll just say to Gross Yeti, he's like eating berries and just like sucking them off his fingertips.
So his corn chip fingers are stained a little bit.
Yeah, they got like blueberry stains
Yeah.
under them.
You know, I don't think I want to do this quest anymore.
I just want to lay down and die. And when he sees people coming, he like tries to like range like he's actually open for business, sort of erect himself.
Hail and well met.
What are you selling?
I'm selling reagents. I'm Regis, and these are my reagents.
It's funny. It's pun.
Yeah, it's a good joke, isn't it?
It's very good.
Did you pick reagents because of your name, or
It's kind of a family thing. I think maybe I was named Regis because the family dealt with reagents. I don't complain. It's kind of good for business.
I'll take the blow dart thing and just stick it into. Does he have a table that he's?
Yeah,
set
he's
up
like
with?
it's like 2 concrete bricks with like a board laid across them.
Okay, I'll
fairly
kind
wide.
of stick it point down into the wood.
And he rummages for a pair of like really thick Coke bottle like spectacles and leans in really close and
I
says,
advise caution.
Ooh, that's a bit of fancy work. Oh, I like the hooks on it. It'd make it real tricky to get out, wouldn't it?
The subject of this particular poison was thrown into blind rage. Have you heard of anything like this?
That's a fair bit of bad business, too. Sounds Alcaran.
That is what we suspect.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know it by name, or who might have bought it recently?
Oh, I wouldn't deal with such things. That's illegal.
kind of reveals a very bad poker face.
And I assume such things would be bought behind closed doors and outside of the earshot of perhaps guild members.
Kind of narrows his eyes and says,
I don't have closed doors anymore. Those ruffians came and broke my wagon.
What ruffians?
A bunch of young snot-nosed shitlickers. I don't even think they were part of any group. Just shitty kids trying to make some money. I think they thought they didn't get to my good stuff, but I think they knew it was there. I've said too much.
I hear you have some friends that aren't so friendly anymore.
Oh boy, we're doing this, aren't we?
he kind of like looks around.
Yes.
You caught me on a real bad day.
Maybe we can make the day better for you.
I'd like that very much.
I know you're probably thinking of money, but perhaps you would rather have their possessions returned to you after we find these supposed ruffians?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Tell me what. If these possessions are out there, they're being used right now, I'm positive.
Fair enough.
Well, let's just say I was supposed to have some protection from these kinds of activities from a certain group of very expensive ruffians who watch the market and make sure people like me don't get this done to them, and they didn't do it.
And you paid them for this?
Oh, I pay him every quarter. Twice last quarter because I was behind.
Interesting. And you don't think these ruffians belong to this group you asked for protection?
No, they weren't professionals. Just kids.
Any thoughts? I'm looking at the rest of the group.
No.
No.
You want to buy some reagents? I got some real good stuff. If we're already this deep down the rabbit hole, I can tell you about the real good stuff.
We are looking to solve several problems that will allow us to get a fair amount of coin. Once we have this, obviously you would be our first choice for reagents. But that doesn't mean...
Not looking for a sponsorship? You're not a team.
Do we not look like a team?
No.
Yeah, you look in the view crystal, you see a large, kind of strange blue giant person, you see interesting dragon person, you see sexy man.
Are you trying to be a team for the LUQ?
We are indeed.
I love the LUQ. I watch it every night with me wife.
Good.
Oh.
Haruthax's eyes just glance down at his fingernails and then just imagine his wife.
I've been rooting for the Ivory Lions.
Tell you what, you give us some help, maybe we give you a shout out, increase business.
Well, you're not really a team yet, are you?
Oh,
You're
we
just
will be,
kind of some blokes.
Will, tell me more about these ruffians.
They just came in the night, and I heard there was a ruckus going on in the market, so I came down from my home quick as I could, and I just caught the tail end of them taking off. Probably 6 of them. Teenagers,
Teenagers.
give or take.
Anywhere where teenagers, young people tend to spend time?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
There are a lot of things you do not
I
know.
don't know what the kids are doing these days.
But maybe you could tell us who you usually pay for your protection. Maybe we can find out why they had a lapse in judgment.
I see what we're doing here. Tell you what, if you do buy some reagents, I'll give you a real good deal, especially since he's trying to get on the LUQ. Maybe I give you a little information about those particular groups that ain't doing the job they supposed to.
He looks over at Chris.
And for an extra coin, I'll tell you what that's called.
He drops it back to the table.
Does anybody have any money?
No.
I will pay you double out of our pot.
You look like a type who could use some good reagents. I've got herbs and mushrooms from all over the kingdoms.
Mushrooms?
Oh, yes.
Haruthax will kind of like look at. It's all like alchemical reagents.
The stuff that's out here is like
spell components,
like
some spell
cantrip
components.
bullshit, but you're
Right.
pretty sure he's talking about some real good stuff in the back.
Okay.
I do not need these simple components you sell.
Well, if you want stuff like this, but better, I can help you make it.
Do you have any herbs from...
What was the name of the world that the Dragonborn came from before they landed on this one?
Oh, you would know that he wouldn't know. It was like literally another dimension. Like
Okay.
they were planar refugees.
Okay.
I can send you info on that between
It's not like
games.
common like knowledge. Like this is a
Not at
really
all.
exotic planet. It's from another dimension type thing.
Correct.
Okay.
But I'll send you all the details on that between games, so you
Okay.
have just the verbiage.
How much coin are you looking for these reagents?
Oh, I suppose I could give it up for 6 gold.
Hmm.
I'll give you...
And he goes in the back and like rummage. He doesn't even have to like open a door. It's just like ripped open, and he gets out a little like wooden case.
He says, These are called widow helms. They can be turned into some of the nastiest unguents you could ever hope to have in your skin. Burns like fire, doesn't wash off. Consume it, eats right through your stomach.
It's nasty.
But if you mill it down and cut it enough, microdose, get you high off your fucking head. Very versatile little fungus, this one.
If anybody is willing to spot me the money, I will happily pay you back double later. We are in this for a long haul, as you say.
Haruthax doesn't have it.
I have 0 money, right?
Yeah.
I have 0.
Yeah, I have 4 gold, but
I suppose I could, I won't be able to get breakfast.
well, we had breakfast at the buffet already, technically. But
What about second break?
Well, let's talk about what
second
your
breakfast?
let's talk about what your plans is.
As soon as we find out who you typically pay your protection to, we will go and maybe pay them a visit. We are looking for some information.
And he kind of like licks his lips, like
I think you know who.
I get it.
do your characters say that?
I can see that.
Get it.
It's an in character. I get it.
I begrudgingly give my compatriot some gold.
A wide smile on my face. Thank you. You have many things.
And he gives you 2 pretty good-sized doses of what's called Widow's Helm.
And he says, this is an Alcaran drug called Banshee Fire. Burns your mind away if it gets stuck in you.
Speaking of which,
He's talking about the dart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, these boys you're looking for, anything in particular? Any names?
We are looking for the ledger.
The Ledger?
Yeah. Or at least those who might know its location.
Oh, everyone's heard of the Ledger. I never seen it, but I hear tell that if you go into the sewers under the Rot Ward and look for the eclipse, find the full moon, you might be able to find the Ledger. Eh?
Sewers on the road.
Old Regis keeps his ear to the ground. Old Regis knows things. But you gotta promise, if you find some of them, you fucking kill them.
I think I can manage this. Can you tell me your little poem again?
Go to the sewers under the Rot Ward, look for the eclipse, and find the full moon.
This is very interesting.
Are there any kind of symbols on currency, or like the
Yes.
what a gold coin stamped with?
The gold coins have what's a very strange, like, mythological carving of a dragon on them, actually.
Okay. And
The silver has a crown wrapped around it, and the copper and gold are just called pips and ditties. But at that, there is a very loud noise from the northern end of the Two Clocks Market. It sounds like, at first someone just screams, not like a shriek, but more like a hey! And then the sound of thundering hooves starts stampeding through the marketplace. And you look up and you see something has caused these horses to go into a frothing panic. And they start to stampede down the alleyway towards the end of the marketplace.
where
And
we
that
are.
is-
Were they
That's where everyone
tied up
is.
single file?
looks like some of them have been unlatched and they are still latched. Some of them are still latched together while they're like side to side.
Side to side.
They're just a big netty mess. And right now they're frothing and stampeding and heading towards you.
I
And
draw
that-
my sword and shout, "This is why I do not ride horses."
And that is where we will wrap up. Hey guys, Lon Zach again.
We wanted to personally thank all of our voice actors. We've got Sam Frost, who's voicing Arvid. We've got Michael Loving, who's voicing Harthax. Alante Barakat, who's voicing Christ. All these guys have been amazing. I also really want to thank our sponsors. Again, you guys are amazing, and we personally support all of our products that we endorse. But more than that, I also really want to thank Law. His work as a GM is unbelievable, and you guys don't even know half of the behind-the-scenes work he does. So thank you.
We're very excited to be working on this new adventure. Thank you for joining us thus far, and we can promise you that things are just going to get more and more exciting. As the team actually finds their way onto the League of Ultimate Questing, you're going to get more fake commercials, you're going to get more fun intros with Kip and Storm, and the action is going to just go through the roof. You guys can follow rosters and find out the scores of the teams and learn more about the world itself.
That's true, and we're going to be releasing every single Monday, preferably in the morning where possible. We'll be releasing on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Google Podcast, and we'll even be releasing on our YouTube channel.
So visit us at slapdashstudios.com. You can check out our YouTube channel to like and subscribe, see our Let's Play videos, learn more about the League of Ultimate Questing, and learn about the characters and the players. And as always, we wish you luck.